Hello, and today we are doing a reaction to Watford's fixtures, and it is our Premier League season. We're back in the big time where we deserve to be, and I'll go through each month. I'm currently in a Portugal shirt because of course it is game day, it is match day for the Shields, Portugal, vamos com tudo, and we're going to go for the Belgium game. You know, no second thought about it, just throw everything at it, and we'll be hoping to channel some of that spirit we showed in Euro 2016. In the group stage, we were a little bit nervy and we had a mixed bag of results, so we really need to go for it. But my other side of my football support is Watford, of course, and it was interesting to see the fixtures released on the 16th of June. So let's go through every single month and kind of react to what we've been served up and some good fixtures to target and good fixtures to look out for across this new season. So make sure you smash a like on it, comment down your thoughts on Watford's fixtures. Let's get into it. Right then, here it is. Let's go through my thoughts on the fixtures for Premier League 2021 to 22. And as you can see there, it's Aston Villa first up at the Vic. That is a very interesting game, and we'll get through each month. We'll analyse each game in terms of the order. But the Premier League 2021 to 22 is assembled. Look at that. It's great to see us back near that Premier League logo, and it's going to be a very interesting season. You've got some newbies in there, like Brentford. You've got Leeds, who we haven't played in the Premier League ever. Or maybe if we have, then it was absolutely ages ago. But that'll be a really tough test. We've got people like Norwich coming back, just like we did as well this season from relegation straight away. Aston Villa, of course, we need their revenge for them staying up by that Hawkeye era against Sheffield United. There's so many plots and so many exciting clubs in this Premier League season, so it's going to be a very tough season for Watford. But let's see how we can do, and let's see what our fixtures are looking like. So to start off with, people, let us just get into this little bit of juiciness. To start off, we're going to go and talk about August. So August there, you can see the fixtures on the middle there, and the date and times, of course, all of those are subject to change due to TV fixture scheduling and Premier League scheduling. And by the way, the Brighton game has been changed to a 5:30 kickoff, I do believe, and that will be on Sky Sports. And also, I think the Tottenham game has been changed to a Sunday, so that probably is on TV as well. So we're getting a bit of coverage, to be fair, to start the season, which is nice. But let me talk about these fixtures to start off the month of August. And it's interesting, isn't it, that we start off at home to Aston Villa. So with Aston Villa, Brighton and Tottenham, that's not bad. To start a season, that is not bad. And certainly with those Aston Villa and Brighton games, we've got there an opportunity to win some points and to pick up some decent results. So I'm pretty happy with that. Aston Villa, of course, because of the rivalry we had over them with that season, they stayed up, went down, and of course, both games were so dramatic. Villa losing 3-0 at Vicarage Road, and also Villa beating us 2-1 at Villa Park with a last-minute goal that never should have stood for Tyrone Mings, who should have been sent off. But it was a really interesting match, a really bit of a rivalry with Jack Grealish, and he was complaining about the first game that he got fouled in the build-up to the third goal from Ismail Assar, but he never did. And it was just close margins for Watford to get relegated. And obviously Aston Villa promoted in the 1920 season. They did well to stay up, but then the next season they have looked a different animal. So whilst Watford have been struggling trying to get through the Championship, Villa have been ripping it up. So these two meets in a very interesting, intriguing first game. And I think that is a decent opportunity, despite Villa's last good season, to get some points, because it's at home and we know that on our day we can beat a team like Aston Villa. And then Brighton, of course, not a bad first away day, with all the memories of Brighton away in that 14-15 season. Matty Vidra and Troy Deeney getting the goals to seal our promotion the first time from the Championship. And now we're back in the from the Championship, we're back in the Premier League. And I think Brighton were quite poor last season in terms of defensively. They are quite solid at times, but they can be opened up. And then going forward, they struggle for goals. So maybe we can try and get some points in that match. And then, of course, Tottenham is always going to be tough. We know that Tottenham are a big team. They've got a lot of great players. And it's going to be interesting to play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because, you know, when we played Spurs in the 1920 season, we were actually really competitive with them. We got a draw that really shouldn't have been a draw. We should have held on for a result. A great goal from Abdoulaye Doucouré. But, VAR had a bit of a shocker again. Dele Alli getting a goal and a goal that really should have been a handball off the arm of him. But anyway, it is an exciting game to go to a Big Six team. And off the back of that Tottenham season and without Harry Kane, they might struggle. So I will be very fascinated to see that game. But I think it's an interesting one. Let's just hope that Aston Villa at home could be at least somewhere near full capacity. I'm hearing that apparently it won't be until December that Premier League games will have away fans in them. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but if that is the case, then that'll be a real shame. But of course, home support is just as important, if not more important, for the clubs in their financial, situation, but also to help the team get results. And hopefully the Rookery and the Family Stand and the Graham Taylor, the Rookery Roar can get them over the line, hopefully, against Aston Villa. But all in all, the first month of the season, I'm pretty happy with that. I think August could have been a lot worse, and we'll hopefully get some points to make it a good start to the season. We move into September. Wolves at home. That's interesting, of course, losing to Wolves in the Premier League 2 seasons ago. But we kind of got the bigger success of the FA Cup final. But of course, then Wolves get knocked out in Europa League. And Wolves obviously have been quite dodgy last season. So that could be an opportunity to get a win. Bruno, Lage, obviously the new manager for them. And I'm going to be very interested to see if we can just kind of get these games by the scruff of the neck. Wolves are still a great side. They've still got great players. And by then, you'd imagine Jimenez will be back to play. So he's always a bit of a threat against us. But not bad for a first game of September. Another winnable game, I'd say, to pick up some points. Then moving on, Norwich City, another good game for a Watford win. Hopefully, we should be beating teams like this. Norwich, Brentford, Burnley, they are the kind of games you'd expect us to really go for it. And Norwich obviously winning the title, but to go to Carrow Road is certainly not a bad fixture to play in September. And then to end the month, Newcastle, we do have quite a good record against them, and to be at the Vic as well is going to be really, really important. So yeah, first 2 months of the season, we're loving life. Then October is where it starts getting not so good. I mean, it's not the end of the world, October, but Leeds United to kick off the month. I mean, we are very scared about playing Leeds because, at first, to be fair, I thought that I didn't like Leeds fans because they got this reputation for, smashing up grounds and being quite raucous and quite hooligan-like in their support. But fair enough. Without the fans, I guess I haven't seen that with Leeds in the Premier League, but I actually have come to grown a bit of fondness for Leeds this season, certainly. The way they play is a very exciting new way under Marcelo Bielsa, so that's going to be a really, really tough game. I know that Watford will go for every game, but to play at Ellen Road is going to be really, really tough. So we'll see what we can do there, but hopefully the fans are a bit nicer now, and they haven't been a team that Watford have always done well against, but I do remember that playoff final 3-0 win to get us to the big time. And of course, Leeds are a team that we haven't played yet, so let's hope we don't get battered to them, basically. Then Liverpool at home. Of course, the memories of the pre-lockdown for Watford. What a win that was to be the only team in the Premier League for such a long time. Something crazy like 44 games unbeaten for Liverpool. And Watford are the team to stop that. It was an amazing performance. It epitomised the fact that we can go there. We can be the best of the rest in the top 6. But, of course, we don't want to get carried away because we want to finish just safe this season. It's as simple as that. We've got to just target that and then rebuild the season after. but it shows the quality we've got in this side, and it didn't deserve to go down. So it was a great moment, and Ismaila Sarr absolutely tore up that Liverpool defence. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, they were no match for our attack in that game. And, Sierralta is the new Van Dijk, it seems. So hopefully he can have a good game in that one. But no, realistically, that is going to be tough. Liverpool have still got an amazing team, but it's a good, exciting challenge to be up against them at the Vic. Then we have Everton, which of course is a bit of a favourite for Watford fans because of the Marco Silva, connection. Obviously being at the club after leaving and getting his kind of head turned, really. And of course the Richarlison link. Now, Richarlison had a pretty bang average end to the season, but I think he'd imagine he'll go again next season and try and do his best with Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the team. But it's going to be a very interesting game. Goodison Park's not an easy place to go. It's a club with a lot of history, and we do often have mixed results on Goodison Park. I remember the first game back, and that is the main vibe really, away to Everton, 2-2 draw, Igalo and Layun, iconic goals there, and that was a great memory. But I've seen now that I've got that game coming the day after my birthday, so that's going to be interesting. Hopefully the game gets removed to Friday and they're going to have it on my birthday. But no, that's a pretty nice one. And of course our first game from the 15-16 season. So a little bit of reminiscing there. But I think it's a decent game. Will be tough, but not too bad. Southampton, not a bad fixture. I think that's winnable, especially at the Vic. And then November. November comes along and it is just absolutely grim. Now, you talk about the Euros, you talk about Group F, the group of death. And this, my friends, is what you call the fixture group, the fixtures of death, the month of death for a Premier League fixture schedule. This is absolutely horrendous. I mean, you just can't write it, can you? So Arsenal at home, obviously that would have been nice before we go away because we often lose at the Emirates. But no, we face the Emirates first. And that's obviously interesting because it's the Cojones derby for Troy Deeney. He probably won't play Deeney, to be fair, because he's got a lot of fitness problems and his contract is expiring. But Arsenal is always a team that I think we can go head-to-head with because they've had a poor season, Arsenal, and they might have a few good individuals, but do they have a collective team that can win results? Well, not all the time. So we'll go for that game, I'm sure, but it's still going to be very, very difficult. Manchester United, of course, that's going to be tough at the Vic, but we've beaten them before. We know how it's done. It's just we don't do it often. Everton, obviously, was our previous away trip, but before that we have after that we have Arsenal and then Leicester. Now Leicester is a very sticky one. I've got to say, Leicester were fantastic last season, winning the FA Cup. Nearly finishing in the top four once again, and that is a really difficult away day that we often do pretty poorly in. So all in all, this month is not good. And then we end it on Chelsea, which is a tough one, considering where Chelsea have come under Thomas Tuchel, winning the Champions League, looking like the most solid defence ever, and we've got to try and puncture that defence at home to end the month. So it really is horrible. We've been served up a bit of a nightmare there, and I feel like with Arsenal, there might not be a top six team anymore, but they still are a fantastic group of players. And at the end of the day, we just got to go for it. It's the team that sent us down, so can we get some revenge? Maybe, but Chelsea we've beaten before, of course. 4-1 win under Javi Gracia, but yeah, those memories are going to be difficult to recreate, especially if we are just looking to stay up. So moving on quickly, let's get out of November because that was a bit grim. Let's get into December. Oh dear, then you realise that actually the pain does continue just for a little bit. Manchester City, the dreaded team we always get battered by, and that is tough. I mean, you've got a really unfortunate run of games of facing the top four from last season. Well, certainly for most of last season, 4 of the top 6 teams from last season in 4 games. So it's unbelievable, stretching from that Man United to the Man City game. But at the end of the day, it is going to be an interesting one at the Vic. We can always do our best, but we might have to just accept that it's going to be a tough one on the 4th of December. And then Brentford. So now the month is getting pretty nice. Brentford is a winnable game. We'll try and get points there. So it's not ideal to start with Man City, but actually I don't mind it too much because then the rest of the Christmas hectic run-in is actually quite decent and quite winnable for Watford. So yeah, let's hope we can get some points there at the Brentford Community Stadium, at Turf Moor. Turf Moor's a tough place to go, but Burnley are pretty susceptible to conceding sometimes, especially last season. They only just stayed up. Palace, of course, is always an interesting one. Bit of a rivalry there, and we'll do our best to beat them at the Vic. And then Wolves and West Ham. I think they're both quite nice fixtures to end the year. Wolves, obviously, we mentioned, are a team that might be struggling to kind of get used to their new manager. And West Ham, obviously, they had a great season. But on our day, can we beat West Ham? Well, it's at the Vic. West Ham might just go back to how they were the previous season. It might just be a one-season wonder. But fair enough, West Ham, they've got a good group of players. So it's a pretty decent first year, basically, of the 2021-22 season. And it's not too bad in terms of tough matches. But we start with January 2022. It's a big year, of course. This is the year that we could stay up or we could go down. But we'll do our best. And we start the year with Tottenham, which I think is quite interesting. It's a nice challenge. Like I mentioned with Arsenal, Tottenham are a team who have struggled, and it's a game at the Vic, so we'll always be up for it, just like we were when we beat them in the 18-19 season to start the season with 4 wins. You never know. With Troy Deeney in the team, he could get a bullet header, or no, realistically, there are weaknesses at the Tottenham team, and if Harry Kane's not in there, then that's some, problems that we don't have to face. But it's interesting after that because we have a run of really nice fixtures. Newcastle, Norwich, West Ham and Brighton to go through to February. So that is really nice. Of course, there's a little bit of a break, I think, in January. Whether that's an international break or a winter break, I'm not sure. But Newcastle certainly is winnable, and we'll do our best to get something at St James's Park. Norwich, of course, at home. You've got to say that's a must-win. And then West Ham away is going to be tough. Brighton, all right, it's at home, but we lost 3-0 to them last time, so we've got to be much better. And then Aston Villa in February. So Villa is obviously another interesting game. The rivalry I mentioned before through the relegation scrap, and we'll try and get a better result than we did last season. We were in the Prem at Villa Park, because that was just the most gutting result, to be honest. It condemned us so heavily. So let's hope for something a bit better there. But it's not bad to say the least, really. February is a bit mixed, but we end it with Manchester United, and to go to Old Trafford is always a great occasion. So we'll see what we can do there. So 3 away games is not ideal, really, in February. We want to have some home games, and it's difficult for a lot of season ticket holders, especially, to have all those games that they're struggling to go to, because actually, if there is no fans away from home all season, then that will definitely be the case. But it is harder for these games to be back to back, and it does make the players tired having to travel to all these matches. But we start off with March with, once again, the Arsenal Cojones derby, and it's not a bad fixture, to be fair, when we play Arsenal at home, because we can go for it at home against these big teams. We often do look quite up for it, but it's whether we've got the quality to kind of nullify Arsenal's threats, but also find threats of our own to hit that back line. So yeah, it's not bad. I think it could be 50-50. Southampton, another winnable game. Everton, not bad. And then April, the big month of April, is where it gets really important that we start picking up results. And I've got to say, April is a bit mixed. So you got to say we've got to try and confirm our safety early. We need to get it done nice and early, because to face Liverpool and Man City in the most hectic month to end the season and end the run-in is not good. And they're both away from home, those games. So yeah, that's going to be really difficult. So you've got to look at that month of April. There's opportunities elsewhere to get wins to kind of see us over the line. At home to Brentford especially, but also Burnley should be a winnable kind of game at home. But to start off with, Liverpool is not ideal. The 2 Merseyside teams back to back. And then Leeds, obviously, will be interesting if there is fans for Leeds. how much of a role they can play in helping their team get a result there. But I think we've got to win that Brentford game. We've got to win that Burnley game, and we'll just kind of maybe take the L against Man City and Liverpool. It's got to be said, Man City have beaten us a lot in the past at the Etihad, and it certainly wasn't good. Last Premier League season, 8-0, and Raheem Sterling, he just loves to play us, so we've got to try and keep him quiet. But then we've moved into the final month of the season, and this is where it gets really, really important, because anything we've not done in that April month, we basically have to throw into it in May. And of course, I remember last season that we had a really poor end to the season in Project Restart. We basically had 3 games which were absolute 6-pointers against West Ham, Arsenal and Man City. And this is actually a pretty similar outcome, that we've been dished up with 2 really tough last 2 games. And I don't care who we're playing, we have to go for it, and we have to show more commitment than we did in that 19-20 season, because against West Ham we were so sloppy. Against Man City, it was Man City, and against Arsenal we just left it too late, and we really made ourselves have too much work to do. So it's got to be said, we've got to take these games by the scruff of the neck and start the game well, rather than waiting too long to get going. But it is going to be memorable to play those matches. Crystal Palace, of course, is a great away day, so if fans are in there for the Watford faithful, then that could be really exciting. Leicester City at home, really tough last game home at the Vic to end the season. Leicester are so strong, and will really have a bit of a battle up there, especially if they're pushing for Champions League. They'll want to win that game. And then, of course, Chelsea to end the season. That is pretty difficult. We have beaten Chelsea before, as I mentioned, and that 18-19 season, we had a great season. It was our second best ever top division finish after that Graham Taylor season when we finished second in the top division. But we also got our best ever Premier League finish that year under Javi Gracia, and of course got to the FA Cup final. So we need Xisco Muñoz to kind of repeat those Javi Gracia heroics. But yeah, to have a London trip away day on the final day is really, really difficult. Obviously, it's close to home, but it is going to be so tough to break down Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And if we need a result in that final game, then we need to really hit them hard and hit them where it hurts. Because, you've seen teams like Burnley, I remember, in the 17-18 season, opening day, beating Chelsea, just getting goals and then holding on. And that's basically what we would need to do if we have to win that game. So I really hope it doesn't come to that, but it's a pretty grim fixture to end the season. So let's hope it's done by then, and let's hope Watford can do enough to finish 17th or above, and just make sure they're a Premier League team for next season. But that is where we're going to finish the video, people. I hope you have enjoyed my reaction to the fixtures for 2021 to 22 for Watford. There are some interesting ones. We start the season well, we end the season badly. We have a little bit of a wobble in the middle with November. The December ones are pretty nice, and then the March and February is a bit mixed. So yeah, let's see what we can do, Watford. Come on, you Warns, and make sure if you haven't already and you're a Watford fan, download the fixtures. You can sync them to your calendar through the provisional Premier League calendars, and basically it's all there for you, ready to be watched and experienced. Like I said, home is black in the text, red is away, and they're all subject to change. So I'll see you next time, but hope you have enjoyed. Bye bye.